Today we are reviewing Babylon is Rising by True Earthers. So we're listening to this from Fakebook. True Earthers is the vanity project of Rejina Forte, who has been stalking me for years. Also in True Earthers is the daughter of Lynderella Forte, hatey-Katie Forte. My understanding is that it's an anti-Zionist, anti-Israel song. I haven't listened to the music yet, but there is a quote on there from Haile Selassie on this Fakebook page, promoting this tune on the post, which is interesting because Haile Selassie was a Zionist. Haile Selassie was a prolific friend and ally of the Israeli state from their inception and very much in the early years. So it's interesting that they would quote Haile Selassie on an anti-Zionist, anti-Israel song. Lynderella likes to attach himself to the cause of the Palestinians while never ever doing one single thing to make their lives better. When I was Fakebook friends with Lynderella Forte, I unfollowed Lynderella Forte because you can unfollow someone and you're still their friend and they don't know that you've unfollowed them. It just means that you won't see their posts in your feed, because every day, 3 or 4 times a day, Lynderella will post, well, not actually post, they're all reposts of other people's posts, but it's all just anti-Zionist, anti-Israel stuff. Now, I don't think that the Palestinians are treated particularly fairly by Israel, and I'm not a Zionist myself. I'm actually on principle an anti-Zionist. And that goes for Rastafarian Zionism as well. All Zionism is stupid. You know? Every Zionist is a fool. And Zionism is just a form of racism. You know, I could say, oh, I'm a ginger and all us gingers, we should all go and live in Ireland and kick out anyone who's not like us. And that would be another form of Zionism, and it would be stupid. So Lynderella Forte tries to attach himself to this cause of the Palestinians. Ironically, the behaviour of Lynderella Forte in this aspect and in many other aspects is the behaviour of a yenta. And yenta is the perfect word to describe Lynderella Forte, and also his daughter hatey-Katie Forte, who is also in the True Earthers. So just to give you some perspective on the True Earthers, Lynderella Forte was in a band called Dub the Earth, who used to play white reggae music, but kind of making it sound like dub. Dub is not a style, dub is a process. You know, Revolutionary Dub Warriors played actual dub because they had a guy mixing on the desk. So the True Earthers came about because Rejina Forte is the drummer in Dub the Earth. Over the years, Dub the Earth became more and more the Emma Show, because Emma Lilwall plays keyboards in Dub the Earth. Now, I remember seeing Dub the Earth when I was living in Kingston upon Thames, and my flatmate, Satin Datani, who's well, he pronounces his name Satin, but it's actually spelt Satan, S-A-T-A-N, and there's no coincidence, aren't they? You know. So this is how I knew Dub the Earth, through Satan Datani. So I'd met them at that time, and out of those three bands, Revolutionary Dub Warriors, RDF and Dub the Earth, which were like the three bands from that area of Hungerford, Newbury, all very interconnected, all played with each other a lot. Dub the Earth were my favourite out of them all, because they didn't take themselves seriously. They didn't strut around with their, nose in the air like Steve Swann, the egomaniac, or Chris Boucher. So they were more like a cartoon band, like the Gorillas. They were kind of like cartoon characters. I almost saw it, Dub the Earth, it was kind of like a band for people with learning disabilities. People who were a bit, So I supported them. I saw them as very much the underdog. Always, in every situation, they are the underdog. And I sort of supported them and thought, I encouraged them. And we did some gigs with them. Satin Datani, would say, yeah, come along and play on the gig. And we'd play as the support band, you know what I mean? Which I suppose to them goes to their head, and they like to think that we're below them. But of course, the music that I was playing in that band was far better than what Dub the Earth were ever doing. And when Dub the Earth came on, I'd get up and dance. Not necessarily because I was moved to dance, but really just to encourage them to you know what I mean? In a humouring, patronising kind of way. Because I saw them as a kind of a band of disabled people, a bit spacky, and even in those days, and we were talking about like 1994, 95, even in those days you could see Emma becoming more and more narcissistic and wanting to do more vocals. But I remember one gig, she wanted to borrow like a delay unit off us, because she was totally like obsessed about having delay on her voice, because she didn't like the sound of her own voice. She was very unconfident as a vocalist because of her vanity, essentially, so she always wanted lots of delay on at first when she was singing, and more and more and more Emma wanted to be singing and occupying that pop star role, which of course made the music less and less appealing to me. So eventually, at one point Steve Swann came back into that band. He used to come up and sing a couple of songs. Sometimes he'd tag along at a gig and he'd get up on the microphone and sing a couple of songs, not playing the bass, just singing. And it was good when he did that. He was a good singer. He sang in tune, and it wasn't remarkable, but it was okay, People liked it a lot, but I preferred the instrumental stuff. That was what always I always prefer instrumental to vocal stuff, because music with vocals and lyrics is always music as theatre. Any music that has vocals with it has an element of theatre to it, There's always a story, a narrative, a protagonist, or the singer is the narrator. So every time that you have music with vocals, it is always music as theatre. And to me, I always liked instrumental music. Instrumental music has always been where it's at for me. So Dub the Earth were less and less appealing to me as they went on, because more and more it became the Emma show. At one point, Steve Swann joined the band as a full-time vocalist, so vocal duties were shared between Steve Swann and Emma. When Steve Swann died, Emma took over and basically usurped Lynn and the other members. I mean, Dan has tried to get control of it, because after many, many years of playing in that band and not really ever doing anything else, Dan's like put all his eggs in that basket, and he's like, oh fuck, you know, I've never got anywhere with music. Well, I might as well try and make something out of this, you know, because I'm already invested in it. But his egotism is not as great as Emma's egotism. So it was always going to be the Emma show. And Emma essentially usurped Lynn, who was the Lynderella, who was the, I don't know if a founding member, but the longest member. Essentially it was Lynn's band, but it became Emma's band. And Lynderella will claim that it's his band, but everyone knows it's Emma's band. It is the Emma show. You know, Emma got her mate in to rap. At one point she had her brother in there with a fucking pair of record decks going whack, 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 doing like shitty scratching on it, you know. And Lynn will just go along with this because he's weak, and he knows that if he stands up to it, Emma will just kick him out and just do Dub the Earth without him. You know, and even if he started a band called Dub the Earth of the same and recruited a new band, called it Dub the Earth, Emma's Dub the Earth would always be the one that would get the bookings and would take over, because most of the people in this little crusty Extinction Rebellion communist Antifa scene that they dwell in, they recognise Emma, not Lynderella, you know. So Dub the Earth became the Emma show. And then Lynderella started the True Earthers. Now, the True Earthers is basically anyone who was ever in Dub the Earth except Emma. So Dan will play in the True Earthers. You know, Dion, who used to play bass and used to be the husband of Emma and has children with Emma, Dion will play in the True Earthers. I've never had a problem with Dion. I've never spoken to Dion much, but he always seemed like an okay character, and I've never had any bad feeling towards Dion or bad feeling from Dion ever. I've never had bad feeling towards Emma. I do make the point that she looks like Hillary Clinton, and that the fringe makes her look totally demented. But I don't say that to hurt her. I say that because these creeps are always making up bullshit narratives about me. Lynderella is a weird creep who tried to insinuate that I was sexually attracted to his nasty daughter, hatey-Katie Forte. The bony, plucked chicken. You know, she's not at all attractive to me in any way. And let me tell you, girls with dreadlocks look disgusting. And now you've got this worse thing going on, where this fucking hair fashion amongst these people, these Extinction Rebellion Antifa terrorists, the girls would have dreadlocks and a fringe. Ugh. Just so repellent in every way. Oh, and they'll even shave bits, so it's like everything wrong that you could possibly do, you know what I mean, to repel me and disgust me. Girls with manky fucking dyed fake hair colour dreadlocks, shaved bits, and a fringe. Fucking hell, you know. It's like the most repellent thing that they could do, self-mutilation, you know, and then they get tattoos as well. But Lynderella will try and insinuate that I'm sexually attracted to these people, you know. So I have to make it very clear that I'm not sexually attracted to these people. Hatey-Katie Forte or Emma or any of these creepy people, you know. I don't hate Emma. I don't like her. I don't think she's a good person. I looked at her fakebook and I see that for Christmas, instead of spending Christmas with her family, with her fucking children, she goes to Calais to the migrant camps in Calais at Christmas time to be with them. To help them break into our country, to help those rapists and murderers and psychopaths break into our country. Emma is not a friend of me or anyone in UK. But aside from that, you know, Dub the Earth became the Emma Show. And so Lynn started the True Earthers, which is basically anybody who was ever in Dub the Earth except Emma. So let's have a listen. Boom. Boom. So there's, it starts off with this woman speaking who is, what's her name? Rafeef Ziada, and she is a Palestinian poet. So they've taken, I don't know if they have her permission, I very much doubt it, they've taken a video of Rafeef Ziada, a poem by Rafeef Ziada. There we have Rafeef Ziada, a poem by Rafeef Ziada. Oh, and May Aniglau. Are you sure you don't mean Maya Angelou? Reading the words of Rachel Corrie. Well, Rachel Corrie was a young British woman, or maybe Irish woman, who went to Palestine to basically interfere, probably another Yenta. She went to interfere and try and do her bit, and I don't know much of the history, but I know that she got like killed by the IDF, by the Israeli Defence Force. I think she was run over by a tank or something like that, which means she was probably standing in front of a tank belligerently, expecting them to stop. Pretty stupid. I don't hate the girl, but it's pretty fucking stupid when you stand in front of a vehicle that's moving towards you and you expect them to stop, like all these BLM maniacs in America standing in the street trying to stop traffic, and all these Extinction Rebellion terrorists. You know, they're lucky that I don't drive a car, I'm telling you, you know, because if I saw someone like that trying to make me stop, they're not making anyone stop for a reason, they're making people stop for their egotism, you know. Let's sort the sound out then. Oh, bass isn't that bad. It's a bit overpowering. Oh, fucking hell. Babylon, Babylon, Lion, Rastaman, Babylon. I mean, it's so childish, these people. So you've got white people talking about Babylon, which is a Jewish Zionist concept. The Jews say that they were taken out of Israel and taken to Babylon, which is modern day Iraq, by King Nebuchadnezzar and held there, you know. That's what the song, like, by the rivers of Babylon and all this stuff. And in Babylon is where the Talmud was written, which is a very contentious book, let's say. There is a schism between Jews who follow the Torah only and Jews that follow the Talmud. And Babylon was invented by Jews. It's a concept, you know, that they say we were taken to Babylon and Babylon is the enemy. And there's a lot of Jews these days who see Iraq and also Iran, you know, the region that was Persia historically, as their historical enemies. The Rastafarians appropriated this concept of Babylon to say that they were exiled, to say that they are the Jews, the true Jews, the black-skinned Jews who are taken from Israel, which is Africa, but they, you know, they've appropriated the idea of Israel to be Africa, and then that they were taken to Babylon, which is Jamaica. But also that the Rastafarians then extrapolate this concept further to say that any enemy or any oppressor is Babylon. When Rastafarians came from Jamaica to live in UK voluntarily to benefit from the economic opportunities here, they call the UK establishment Babylon, and they call policemen particularly Babylon.
To the east, Africa. To the west, Jamaica, first Babylon. To the north, England, second Babylon. Babylonian triangular captivity.
It's ridiculous, it's stupid. And then these white people, these chavvy white people, pretend Rastafarians, appropriated Babylon from the black Rastafarians, who'd originally appropriated it from Judaism, and they called police Babylon. And now they're calling Israel Babylon. So Jews, Zionist Jews, invented this concept of Babylon. That was stolen from them and appropriated by black Rastafarians. And that's been further appropriated by white Rastafarians, who now call the Zionist Jews Babylon. I mean, they could not be more wrong if they tried. It's like you cannot make it up. Babylon, Babylon. Babylon is rising, rising. So in the video you've got like lots of pictures of, there's a picture of the wall in Israel, the separation wall, the apartheid wall that was built to separate Israeli regions from Palestinian regions. The vocals will be hatey-Katie Forte, possibly her mother. Now, Lynderella Forte has a narcissistic gene, and he shares this narcissistic gene with his brother Dominic Forte. Little Dominic, the horse stabber, who stabbed a horse when he was a little boy because his father was a jockey. Who worked in Newbury at the racetrack, you know, racing horses as a contemporary of Lester Piggott. And so, you know, little Dominic had to work as a stable boy, and little Dominic was paid by some creepy old men who wanted to throw a race and win money on this race that they'd thrown. And the way they were going to do that was by employing little Dominic to cut the leg of the horse so that it couldn't run properly and it would lose the race and that they would be able to win money betting on it. And they paid him like £0.50 or whatever to do that. I know that when I was a little boy, at age 11, 10, 5, 3, at any age, there was nothing that you could do. Nothing, no threat, no bribe, nothing that you could do to make me harm an animal, to make me wound an innocent animal. What an evil act that vicious, evil little Dominic did. Now you might know Dominic as Reg Forte or Queenly Jah Rejina. They both share a narcissistic gene, and they've passed that gene on to their children. With Lynn's children it's even worse, because Lynn had children with a narcissistic woman, Karen Woodhead, whose head is actually made of wood. She has a narcissistic gene, so she combined her narcissistic gene with the narcissistic gene of Rejina Forte and made uber narcissists hatey-Katie Forte and Marley Ford-Cortina. So there's like lots of pictures of the Israeli separation wall. Essentially they're saying that Israel is Babylon, you know. Babylon is it's a stupid, meaningless concept, and they've appropriated it to mean anyone they don't like. They'll call me Babylon. They'll say that I'm Babylon, you know. How long is this? Fucking hell, it's 9 minutes 23. I mean, fucking hell. Overblown and self-indulgent, 9 minutes 23. Try and get some mid so we can hear what the fuck they're saying. I can't hear the words. Babylon is rising, rising, rising. That's all I can hear. So now they've put in a bit of Rafif Ziada, the Palestinian poet. I'm pretty sure that they don't have her permission to use this footage and take it out of context. The big problem is that these people attach themselves to the cause of the Palestinians, but they never actually do one thing to improve the life of a single Palestinian, ever. In all the decades of reposting stuff on fakebook, Lynderella Forte posts 3 and 4 times a day on fakebook, all reposts of anti-Israel stuff. Never once has he actually wrote an impassioned article or op-ed or anything about it. It's all reposts of what everyone else says. And it's all virtue signalling. And I unfollowed Lynderella Forte. I remember saying to Ben King, Benky Wank. So Ben King the Sued, I was saying to him like, I had to unfollow Lynn because it's just depressing. You go on Facebook and all you see is this anti-Israel, oh, Israel did this, Israel did this, Israel did this. Yeah, I know they did this, and there's nothing that I can do about it, and there's nothing you can do about it, and there's nothing you have done about it. And even if you could do something about it, you wouldn't. There's nothing that these people have done to improve the lives of a single Palestinian. So I said to Benk, I just had to unfollow Lynn because it's like, I don't want to see that shit. And Benk's like, yeah, me too. I don't watch that. I unfollowed Lynn fucking years ago. You know what I mean? And I think you'll find that most of people who are fakebook friends with Lynderella Forte have unfollowed him because he doesn't. The people, if you unfollow someone, they don't know. It doesn't tell them that. You just don't see their posts in your feed. And if you look at Lynderella Forte's feed on Facebook, it's all these anti-Israel posts, but there's like no reaction at all. You might get like one like and no comments on them ever. So all of his friends have just, they don't want to know, you know. It's an echo chamber. No one's reading it. No one's interested. It's just his virtue signalling. So now we've got pictures of crying Palestinians, pictures of dead bodies. This is disgusting. These people have done nothing to make the life of the Palestinians any better, and they're putting emotive pictures of crying children and dead bodies on their crappy video to virtue signal and try and gain status within this little coterie of Extinction Rebellion terrorists and Antifa. So we've got some details here, flashed up relative sizes of the Berlin Wall and Israel's apartheid wall to show that the Israel wall is far bigger than the Berlin Wall. It's totally irrelevant nonsense. And it diminishes the cause of the Palestinians. So this woman, Rafif Ziada, is speaking impassionately. I say she's a Palestinian. She was actually born in Lebanon, I think. I have done a bit of research. I haven't heard the music before, but I did some research. She's born in Lebanon, I think, but of Palestinian background, you know.
Soldiers looking between her legs for their necks.
So they're taking her words and using it.
And did you hear Anne Mona screaming behind their prison bars as they tear gassed her cell? We are returning to Palestine. Palestine.
It's artless. It's really bad. It's more bad art. We don't need bad art. There's enough bad art in the world. So now there's a picture of some IDF soldiers harassing or arresting or beating some Palestinian children. There's a picture of an IDF soldier holding a stick up to two women wearing a Muslim headdress. You know, a picture of an IDF soldier pointing an M16 at some people. It's all this emotive stuff that they're using, but they're not doing anything. It's just commentary based on other people's commentary, you know. It's virtue signalling. They've done nothing. I saw one picture that one of them put on their fakebook. I'm not sure who it was. It might have been Lynderella. And it was a picture of Coombe Gibbet, which is an old hangman's pole on a hill near where they live. In Berkshire. It's not the real hangman's pole, of course, it's a replica. And the photo that they posted was someone had climbed up it and put a Palestinian flag on it. Well, what does that do? That's not helping anyone. That's just litter. Did you climb up and get it down? Probably not. Probably someone else had to climb up and get it down. Some National Trust person or the council or the police had to fucking hire a crane probably and you know, go up there, or a cherry picker to go up there and get that bit of litter down. Now, I'm not against the Palestinians. I'm not against the Palestinian flag. I used to be an anti-Zionist and I used to stick my nose into this. But then I realised that I don't have a dog in this race. There's nothing I can do about it. So there's no benefit to anyone of me bleating and stamping my feet and virtue signalling, saying, oh, Israel's bad, Israel's bad. Well, of course they're bad. But it's pretty stupid for me to be complaining about Israel persecuting the Palestinians when there's people in this country persecuting me. Persecuting me, trying to stop me having the right to choose my own name, trying to stop me have the right to choose free association, because I rejected these people. I rejected Rejina Forte and Queenly Jah Rejina. And they hate me and follow me everywhere. And make up fake accounts, troll accounts, to comment on every fucking video. I thought it was Reg Forte because this troll actually said it was Reg, but now I'm thinking it probably wasn't Reg. It was probably Lynderella all along. It was probably Lynderella all along who was behind every little bit of the trolling. And not only did they troll my YouTube page incessantly, every video, posting comment on every single video before I'd ever mentioned them, even like cooking videos or just videos about nothing, videos I was talking about, you know, music that I'd done years ago with other people, totally unconnected to this lot, and I never even mentioned this lot. They'd put comments on every video. And it's because they can't handle the rejection. They will never let me go. And Lynderella Forte will be stalking me until the day he dies, which will be very soon. He will take it to his grave.
Waving, towel head, standing.
And then, I mean, I get fucking messages all the time. They won't have the balls to comment on my YouTube videos. The comments are open. If you want to make a comment with me, comment on the YouTube video. It's open and it'll be public and everyone can see it and we can have an open conversation in public, but they don't want that. Lynderella Forte won't comment on the fakebook posts that I make or comments that I make. He won't reply there because people will be able to see it openly and know that it's from him. He then even used his troll accounts like Mark Forte or Lynn David or the many other troll accounts which I've identified to be Lynderella Forte. So he goes to my Bandcamp page, because there's a message link there, and incessantly spams it up with messages. Now those messages now go to a spam account that I don't hardly ever look at. You know, I never hardly log into that account. It's an old account that I just keep because I have many email accounts, and some you want to use for important things and some you want to use for unimportant things. But every time I put up a YouTube video or speak out about this abuse, I get hate there. And I thought it was Queenly Jah Rejina, Dominic Forte, who was doing it, but I'm pretty much sure it is all Lynderella Forte who's behind all of it, even at times claiming to be Dominic Forte and impersonating his brother. Really evil, because the spelling is terrible, and I did look at one a few weeks ago. I've stopped looking at them now and I just catalogue them now. You know, they're just for evidence now. I just let them build up. In the last week, I logged in to that account today and I see in the last week he sent like 10 or 15, you know what I mean, 4 per day. I don't open them. The last one that I opened, he was saying about how I'm not known for music and all these other people are known for music. Well, who cares what you're known for? I don't need to be known for music. You know, look at Lynderella's fakebook page. Pictures of him behind the drum kit, pictures of him on stage. This is what he wants to, the image he wants to put out to people. I don't do that. I don't care about being known for music. If you're actually fucking good at music and have achieved a high level, if you're accomplished, you don't care about being known. And one message he put, and he didn't even say known, it says no for music all the time. The clown cannot spell. And he thinks he's going to take me on intellectually and win with words. He's like the Black Knight, isn't he? Like in Monty Python, you know what I mean? Even when you've cut his fucking arms and legs and head off, he's still there going, I win, I win. And the last one I looked at, it said, you're not known for music. This person's known for music. This person known for music. Katie Forte, known for music. Katie Forte, known for doing music. Now that is insane. Nobody knows Katie Forte for doing music. People know Katie Forte as Lynderella's narcissistic daughter, who's allowed to do this because it's Lynderella's vanity project. The true earthers, which is anybody who has ever endowed the earth except Emma. You know, because Lynderella knows he's just hanging on by a thread, and at any time Lynderella could get the boot and Emma will just go ahead with Dub the Earth without him. There's no reason for Emma to keep Lynn in Dub the Earth except charity. Because let's be honest, anyone it would be a better drummer than Rejina Forte.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I'm not afraid anymore, and the music's just coming out of me.
Okay. What do I have to do?
I'm not really sure. By getting rid of all those memories, I feel more confident, stronger, not afraid of making mistakes. You've got to find some that's holding you back on the drums.
I got it. Ready?
Shit. Are you hating away a specific memory because...
Wait. This is it.
It kind of sounds the same.
Yeah, it sucks. But now, I don't care. I'm no good. I'll never be any good. I just hated away the fact that I give a shit.
You could go to any Dub the Earth gig and just get on the mic and say, anyone in the audience want to come up and have a go on the drums? And even if someone had never ever had a time behind a drum kit in their life, they would still do better than Rejina Forte. Lynderella, at first when Lynderella posted hate to me through the Bandcamp page, Bandcamp showed me the IP address, because when you post a comment to Bandcamp and they identify it as a potential hate spam message, they send it to you and say, we saw this message, or this message was flagged up as a potential hate message that came to your Bandcamp page, and they give you the IP address, and they give you a map with the IP address that you can zoom in on and see that it comes from Cold Ash in Berkshire, where Rejina Forte was living. Now, I made a video and flashed this information up on YouTube, and since then, now Rejina Forte uses a VPN, virtual protocol network. So the IP address shows a different location every time. It's very simple to do, and it's very obvious what he's doing. To try and hide, I mean, how pathetic. Why bother? Why bother trying to hide your IP address when I know it's you, you fool, you know? Nobody else would send me these messages, and nobody else would ever claim that Katie Forte is known for music. But this clown is so, it's like he's so stupid and low IQ, he really doesn't get it, you know. It's like when a kid says, no, I didn't eat the chocolate cake, and they've got chocolate all over their face.
Children have to die, but those are your copters, your F-16s in our sky. And let's talk about this terrorism business for a second. Wasn't it the CIA that killed Lynn and Lumumba? And who trained Osama in the first place? اسمحوا لي أن أتكلم بلساني العربي.
So they've taken all these words out of context. It's not really even audible what the woman's saying. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you hear her words or not. All that matters is that they've used her to attach themselves to her. Because she's a woman. I don't know much about this woman. I just did a quick search of the name, Rafif Ziada. She's a poet. I assume that she has some status among these people or among anti-Zionists. So they want to attach themselves to somebody who has status in anti-Zionism so that they can get status in anti-Zionism. Why? It's not their fight. It's not their struggle. Why? Because Lynderella Forte is a yenta. Folk was awful. So it would be hatey-Katie Forte and probably her mother, Karen Woodhead, whose head is actually made of wood. Incredibly narcissistic people. It's like a nursery rhyme, isn't it? Children's. Na 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 na. Oh, disgusting. And now they've got a picture of Rachel Corrie. I'm not even going to bother showing you. The spirit of Rachel Corrie, mission to Gaza.
An Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger.
So they've got this woman talking about Arab women of colour. Nothing to do with these white people from Berkshire. Absolutely nothing to do with them.
Belly dancer, harem girl, soft-spoken Arab woman. Yes, master. No, master. Thank you for the peanut butter sandwich is raining down on us from your F-16s, master. Yes, my liberators are here to kill my children and call them collateral.
So basically they've taken a long, I mean these are long sections of this woman's poem that are inserted into this tune. That's probably why it's 9 minutes something, you know. They've taken the whole of her poem, appropriated the whole thing and just stuck it in their crappy tune. What's this? Guitar solo, who's that? Can't tell. Could be Spaniel Foster. Spaniel Foster, who is also a narcissist. Poor Dan, you know. Dan could have been a good musician. He has the ability to play good music, but he's wasted most of his life playing with these people, playing with RDF, playing music which is frankly quite beneath him. Because he never had the courage to step out of this world and go it on his own and make connections with other people, you know. There was a Scotsman who did white reggae but with a kind of voice, with sort of Scottish nationalist lyrics. What's his name? Clark, I think. I don't know actually. I better not say because I don't even know the guy's name. I can't remember. But I know he had a band called Alba Root. Alba being meaning Scotland. It's an old word for Scotland. And they did some recording with Queenly Dominic Forte, the horse stabber. And I know that at one point Dan Foster, Spaniel Foster, he told me that he was doing gigs with this guy in Edinburgh, and he would get on a flight from Bristol Airport, fly all the way to Edinburgh, do a gig, stay overnight, and then fly back. And he was saying, yeah, like, when I do it, I like spend all my money on the flight, you know, but when I'm getting on the plane with my guitar, you really feel like you're doing it, you know. And I was like, what? He's so desperate to imagine himself as a professional musician that he'll spend a whole weekend going all the way up to Edinburgh, coming back, making zero money out of it because he's spent it all on the travel or anything he makes, because he feels like he's really doing it, because then he can tell people, oh, I'm an international musician, you know. It's all a pose, it's all narcissism and egotism, and these people waste their whole lives in this. Getting a bit blues boxy now, so it's probably Dan. Dan's always been stuck in the blues box. Pentatonic Dan. Oh, the vocals are awful, aren't they? So more pictures of the Palestinian flag. Whereas if someone puts up a Union Jack flag, oh, you're a racist, you're a racist. Oh, nationalist, racist, get 'em. Nazi, you've got a Union Jack flag, you're a Nazi. But they're obsessed with the Palestinian flag. It's so clumsy. Everything about this is so clumsy.
We are all born, and someday we will all die.
So they've got Maya Angelou, or May Aniglau, reading the words of Rachel Corrie. So it's appropriation stacked on appropriation, stacked on appropriation, stacked for out of context, stacked for misappropriation, stacked on misappropriation. It's just so many levels of foolishness. It's like a fractal of foolishness. The deeper in you go, you just get more and more and more foolishness.
If I lived in Bosnia or Rwanda, or who knows where else, needless death wouldn't be in this world.
I mean, how artless. They've basically taken one poem, the whole of it, and stuck it in the first half of their crappy song, and then they've taken another poem, the whole of it, and just stuck it in the last part.
I can't say
it's just so artless.
All shades of anger, so let me just tell you, this queen inside of me will only bring you your next rebel. She'll have a rock in one hand and a Palestinian flag in the other. I am an Arab woman of color. Beware, beware my anger.
And they left all the applause on the end, as if it's for them. I'm surprised they didn't edit in some fake applause, you know, like Reg Forte did. Dominic Forte played me one thing he had on his MySpace. Back in the days of MySpace, he made a jingle, which was one of his songs, the start of one of his songs that he'd recorded, played on a sound system, and then, you know, in sound system when like a song gets played that is recognised and is popular and people cheer and way, and then the song gets stopped and played again. And there was two of these little jingles of his song with a reaction by the crowd in a sound system, and then the song starts again. And I said, oh, that's good, where did you get that? He said, well, actually, I made it. It was fake. Yeah. He took one of his songs, put it on the multi-track, got a sound system recording of Jah Youth sound system, and spliced it together and overlapped them, so it made it sound as if his song was getting the reaction in sound system. But it was all fake. It was all made by him. He told this to me. He admitted it to me, and when I said to him, "Oh, where did you get that recording from? You know, it sounds quite good quality for a sound system recording, you know." Because it doesn't quite match up, because, you know, obviously the reverb of the building that the sound system was in is totally different to whatever Reg could artlessly apply to his track to make it sound as if it was part of it, but it wasn't really, you know. Now, if your songs do get that reaction in a sound system ever, you wouldn't need to make a fake splicing together Jah Youth sound system recordings of the crowd reacting to somebody else's tune, a totally different tune, and then splice in your tune pretending that they're reacting to your tune. Poor broken little Dominic the horse stabber. I pity you. I really pity you. I would pity Lynderella, but he's so evil. You cannot pity evil.